Hello everyone and welcome back to Royalty Soaps. This is the 5th video in the 2022 Secret Soap series. I feel like the last one threw a couple of y'all for a loop. It really did. This one will quite frankly probably not add any clarity to the situation. One very general hint I will give you, and I've seen a couple of people say certain things in the comment section that agrees with this, is that every year I do typically pick a soap or two to be more vague. And that is just simply because if I get too specific in every single soap video, it will be very easy to guess the theme. I do purposefully try to throw curveballs. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, but I do that on purpose. And so without further ado, enjoy the 5th video. For today's soap, I have to set up my lye water solution a little differently. So here I have my soap oils ready to go. Here's my lye water solution. And now I'm going to add a little something to my lye water solution. Pour that right in, blend it on up. And now I can pour my lye water solution into my oils. Let's blend this up on high. I'm really doing my best to not overblend on this batch. In fact, you can probably still see some oil at the top because I know I'm going to be blending up the fragrance oil and the colors still, and it's important that the batter stays runny. This batch is behaving extremely well for me today. So I'm gonna go ahead and place one of these off to the side. We're gonna leave it just as is, and then I'm gonna blend in my color without my fragrance. That way I can really see if this is what I want or if I want to change it. Here's the first color going into our large container. Here's the color going into one of our accent buckets. And here is our final color. Gonna blend this up. As far as colors go, I could not be more pleased. This is exactly what I was aiming for. And now that everything has been blended well, it's time to add the fragrance and the kaolin clay mix. One thing I will tell you is that this fragrance is a custom blend, and I of course will share it at the end of the series in the finale YouTube video. So don't be upset. I will share it eventually. On our fragrance scale of potency, this definitely falls into the gentle category. I always try to make sure that I have at least 2 soaps per month that have a gentle fragrance for those of y'all who are sensitive to it. And for those of y'all who are sensitive to all sorts of fragrance oils, well, I have an entire soap line now called Simplicity. It is only essential oils, and there is a bar with absolutely no fragrance or additives whatsoever. It's just good old-fashioned handmade soap. So we're offering a little something for everybody. All right, and now that everything is blended in, I can go ahead and do my design. So I'm going to start with this here, and I'm not going to scrape out my containers. I'm going to leave them just as is. And right here, just like that. Awesome. And then I'm going to hop too, because this thing needs to go. Gonna go right to the middle, pour a goodly bit, and then I'm gonna start to go up and down the length of my mold here. There is a variance in the consistency of different colors, which actually makes for no more unique pours. So not something I'm upset about, something I'm excited about. Gonna give my big container a scrapey. And now with the leftover soap that I had in my white buckets, I'm just going to drip drop it on top just like so. The prettiest drip drops on the top of a soap batch always come from a proper consistency. You can't have it too thick, you can't have it too thin, it has to be just right or it just won't look like that paint splatter. Now using this stainless steel chopstick, I'm going to texture the top just like this all the way around. I will probably go around the edges too, as you can see, just to make sure that everybody is getting a decent swirl. Then I'll go back to what I was doing on each of the individual loaves here. Then I am going to tap this down because sometimes, as I've said before, we whip up all that soap and it ends up creating some air bubbles, and we like to avoid those when possible. We consider it a cosmetic defect over here at Royalty Soaps. Beautiful. Okay, so now that that's done, I can bring in this old thing that many of you are already very familiar with, and we can add some of these on top. These are a few of the embeds that I actually get to show you with color and clarity. And yes, they are quite large, so a few of them will probably get cut, but as Caroline and I talked about last month, that is one of the things that makes a handmade product, is that not every single line or every single embed is entirely perfect. There is a little bit of natural variance in the bars. Now that I have those marker embeds in place, I'm going to turn my whole batch here, and I will gently place the stars randomly across the tops of these bars. So they will be all over the place. They're not necessarily going to be in one particular spot on the top. I like to add more individuality when I can. If there's an option for making individual bars unique, I like to do it. For those of y'all who may not live in the United States or haven't heard about the type of weather we've been having in Texas, let me tell you, it has been one of the most memorable summers for me just because of the weather. I think, if I am remembering correctly, and I'm always counting the days that we get rain because it has been so infrequent. We are in a very large drought here in Texas. I believe in the entire summer, which I always count from like the last week of May because that's when a lot of schools let out, to now, and you guys will be watching this in August, but it's being filmed in July. We have had 2 rains. 2. And they were not big rains. They were like 20-minute showers. So all of the grass, I do mean all of it, is dead where I live. It's completely brown. All the trees are dropping their leaves. People's crops have all but failed. And we're definitely limiting the amount of water that we're using. Caleb and I don't water our lawn. We have property out in the countryside in a place called Poetry, but we don't water our lawn, but a lot of people do. And of course now they're calling for people to not do that anymore just because the water is so little. And so we're really having to be careful, and it's just so bizarre because in the last 3 years, I have experienced more Texas extremes than I ever have in my whole life, and I've lived here my whole life. There's been extreme cold with snow and a whole bunch of people's pipes breaking. There's been hurricanes on the coast and tons of people's homes getting flooded in Houston. My grandparents being among them, their whole downstairs was flooded. They had to redo their whole house because of the damage in the past 2 or 3 years. And it's just been really just one of the craziest things to observe. And I am a cool weather person by blood just because cozying up is one of my favorite things to do. I love to read and snuggle up, and while I love going to tropical places and definitely like vacationing there because I feel like the ocean air always does my soul so much good, in Texas I always prefer fall and winter because we get kind of a heat break. So it's not like other people's fall and winter normally. It's just mild. Sometimes you need a jacket or some gloves, but it's so tolerable. So I have never in my whole life looked forward to the fall and winter season like I am this year. I can tell you that. Now let me look and see if I missed anybody. I don't think we did, and we got all the end pieces, which is great. So I'm gonna remove this. I am going to spritz the top, but then I'm gonna let that evaporate so that there is almost no shine. And now we will add some of this. Can you guess which blend this is? You probably already know who I got it from. And now focusing on the areas that do not have any embeds, I'm just going to give my little brush here a sprinkle. And then one of my tips for working with this particular type of glitter that you guys already know is to leave your soap exposed to the air. So this type of glitter can break down when it is exposed to too much moisture or humidity. So keep a dehumidifier running in your curing room and do not cover the top of your soaps if using this, because it may break down if you do. So if you have a recipe that is prone to soda ash, I would recommend using a different one for batches that you place this particular type of glitter on. Also, do not spritz with rubbing alcohol after you have applied the glitter. That will also be very helpful for your final design. I guess a final tip would simply be add a little bit more than you think you need, because depending on when you're adding your glitter, if you're a little further in the setting up process of the soap, like I am today, some of it may not stick very well. So it's good to add a little bit more than you want on the chance that it doesn't stick and it falls off whenever you're cutting the soap. Oh no. Okay, well, that's a first. That's a first. You guys got to witness. I've never dropped a glitter cup to my recollection in a soap. So lucky for me, you can see how firm that soap was. It didn't even make that big of a deal, but that was shocking. So this is what our 5th secret soap looks like up close. We will be back in 18 to 24 hours to split the slab into the loaves and cut the loaves into bars after this quick commercial break. Just look at these colors the next day. They mellowed out exactly the way that I wanted them to. I could not be more pleased. Gonna try to line it up so that as little gets cut as possible, but y'all know how that goes. I'm just gonna press down gently. Oh, so cute! Pull one from the middle, and this is what it looks like on the inside, and this is what it looks like on the top. Does this help your guess for this year's secret soap theme? Does this throw you for a loop? Is it confirming? You have to let me know down in the comments below. Now, was this a helpful video, or did it really just confuse you even more? I don't know what kind of effect it could possibly have, because obviously I'm on the other side of it. But what I will say is that I have thoroughly enjoyed watching all of the responses. Again, you guys are so creative. The way that you try to put things together based on just the appearance of the soap is incredible. I can't believe how many different options we can all come up with just by looking at the same set of soaps. It's so cool. So we have 2 more videos. We have one that's coming out on Friday and one that's coming out on Saturday. So the Friday video is another soap making. It's the 6th in the collection. And then the 7th video is also the finale end and collection reveal. So we'll make the soap and then I'll talk about the collection in the second half of the video. That's on Saturday. It's release Saturday. So you can go ahead and get the full collection that day at royaltysoaps.com, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope you guys love it. And in that video, I will also be talking about the giveaway that we're going to be doing as well. Be sure you do something fun for yourself, whether that is going out and learning about a historical figure. I just recently found the YouTube channel Royalty Now Studios, and they put together some really interesting videos about prominent prominent royal figures in history, and then Photoshop what they think their faces would look like based on the historical documents and, you know, marble statues and oil paintings and stuff that we have available to us. So it's been so fun to watch those videos recently. It's something I've enjoyed, but of course you guys know I don't really care what you do, just do something fun for you today, and I will see you guys on Friday. So until then, bye for now. Meow.